Assalamu alaikum. So I've been looking forward to this. In the days of watching Speakers Corner in my early days, Hussain was one of the speakers I used to enjoy watching. He was always the guy that was sort of spoke from his heart. And I think what you remember most of him is he was always the guy to break up a fight. And I just remember his manners always being very good. And I think he's also a brother that knew his weaknesses and his strengths. So I think, yeah, for me, very, very special to have him on. And I've only met him once at the park, but mashallah, I know his work and I follow him on Facebook, Streetordeentv, which is, if you don't know it, let me see where I got it here. I'll put it on in a second. So before I start the stream, and look, I will check the comments, but I'm sure people will start coming in now. I'm sure Hussain will pull in a crowd. So first I wanted to read a bit from the Quran that I thought might be relevant to this stream. So, O mankind, we create you from a male and female, and we made you into nations and tribes, that you surely may know one another. Surely the most honorable among you, in the sight of God, is the most righteous. God is knowledgeable, expert. I think that's very well known from most of you. Let's see. And from his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the language of your languages and your colors. In that are the signs of knowledgeable beings. And this bit's not from the Quran, but this is a bit I wanted to add. Something that Islam promotes racism because it is pro-Arab due to promotion of things like Arabic or Arab customs. Also, something Islam is pro-black and anti-white due to the groups such as Nation of Islam. The Quran makes it very clear. The most important differentiator is when it comes to people and who is most righteous. And I would have put the last year, the Quran portrays Arabs like any other people. Some are good, some are bad. So wanted to put some of that from the Quran in because I think it may be relevant to some of the topics that me and Hussain will cover. And he is here. Let's add him to the... Assalamu alaikum.
Hold on, let me try and get some light.
Right.
Too dark. That's a bit dark. Can you see me?
You're all set? You're looking good.
I can hear you clear. This is the first time doing this. I've never heard of this stream level. Where are we?
I can hear myself back. I don't know whether that's something you can do or... Oh, no, it's gone now. It's gone. So welcome, man. Cool. So I was just saying, we've met once at the park, I believe, maybe once or twice.
I've seen you quite a few times in the park, but I've seen you quite a few times in the park.
Yeah, I was always hanging around, but you're always busy. You're one of the similar to like the other brothers. You're always like, when you get there, you're mobbed from start to finish. You don't always get to have a conversation. I think you asked me if I was a fitness trainer, and then you tried to give me dawah, and I said I'm actually Muslim already, and you said, "Oh, okay, cool." I think that was our first meeting.
Yeah, you know, one of the stereotypes we're going to talk about today. I don't know, they were just fine. That was fine, and now it's okay. Where are we? Are we on Facebook?
So we're on YouTube. So I've sort of built up a little platform. I've got there are currently 40 people watching. I reckon it will probably go up to 80 maybe. I've grown a little platform of sort of EF Dawah, and a lot of Reverts come on here, and we do some chats on here.
Let me try and get some light. So this is YouTube, yeah?
This is YouTube, yeah.
What's the difference between this and Google Hangouts?
Hangouts is YouTube. So Hangouts is, I mean, I guess you could call this a Hangout, but Hangouts is more, there's Google Hangouts, and there are panels of people. Lots of people join. And I'd say, I don't know if you're aware, but like a community is formed on Hangouts where people jump on different platforms. There are Muslim platforms, there's far right platforms, and
I've seen it, and there's different Muslim like platforms, like this group of friends and that group of friends, and
yeah, it's all that. It's all that. And to be honest, and I'm sure even Muslims watching would agree, the Muslims haven't been the best at it. I would say it's quite often a place where you'll see a lot of arguments, whether it's Sunni Shia, whether it's takfiring each other.
Okay. What do you mean, personal arguments or actual like Deen arguments?
I think, to be honest, there are good parts to it. There are some good parts to it. I would say some of it's become sort of personality clashes and this person against this person as opposed to perhaps religious debates. But there are some good channels out there, but I think it's that thing, isn't it? When you've got online only and people can't see people's faces, you have people on, because they're not at Speaker's Corner. You're there. You're a man of your word, aren't you? You're speaking. Whereas on Hangouts, it can often just be people sort of coming on and having a troll. But there are some good channels out there. TIBN is one of them in the chat. Sir Faz.
Are we live at the moment?
We're live, man. Yeah, sorry, I should have warned you.
You've been a bit busy. I've been a bit busy.
Wait, are you doing a bit of cardio there or something? You look like you're moving around a lot.
Okay, cool.
All set?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. So I think, Hussain, I kind of wanted you to. You're getting a lot of love in the comments, by the way. I think a lot of people miss you from Speaker's Corner.
Oh, I had it on private chat. I've just seen it now. Yeah, I've just turned it on. Assalamu alaikum to all the family. Thank you for all the support. I think I'm nobody, but thanks for the support anyway. So yeah, you were saying?
I think from what I remember of you, and the reason why I was really keen to get you on here, because I haven't had many people on here other than the Dawah people.
Okay.
But I like the work that you do. I think brothers in Dawah all sort of have their own sort of niches of people that they may relate to. And I've seen a lot of the work you do is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's perhaps people from tougher backgrounds, maybe people from road, as you'd say.
Yeah, basically people from the worst, either Muslims generally from the worst parts of society, whether they be not from the worst parts of society that are caught up on certain things, like whether it be music, whether it be drugs, whether it be gangs, whether it be having bad relationships with their father. I try and reach, because what is that? Okay, you need a general dawah for the general people, and we were always called to Tawheed. That's the most important thing, and so forth. This is all the messengers called to singling out alone for worship. So you have your normal straight dawah where people give dawah to people and so forth. I do that. That's what I normally do at Park. But then I've got like my project Streetordeentv. That's to do with Muslims that are born in this country and are basically struggling, because I think most Muslims that are born in this country, they're not taught. What I mean by that, it's like a cultural Islam. Like you grow up in a Muslim family and your mum's Muslim and your father's Muslim, and you go through rituals, but it's never really taught to you. Like why is Islam the truth and why is Judaism not? Like it's not taught to you. So what happens to you is that you grow up in this society as a child. You're told to pray. You pray. What I'm saying? When Ramadan comes around, you fast and so forth. But what happens is that there's like your parents don't sit down to you and explain to you Tawheed, Aqidah. You just go through rituals basically. So what happens when you reach teenage years? Two things happen. You start meeting people like atheists. You start meeting people of different religions. You start meeting spiritual people. You start finding out there's different ways of life. Yeah. And what happens is that you realize there's other views to yours. but your parents have never really sat down and taught you what Islam's the truth. You just do Ramadan because everyone else is doing Ramadan. You know, so you just pray because it's prayer, you know, or beats, or you just go madrasa because it's part of your culture. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so what happens? You go up with that, and then what happens? Two things happen is that when you meet other people of different walks of life, they start asking you questions. Yeah, that can challenge some people, especially if you go to university and stuff. And also, when your family tries to kind of protect you from the outside world, which is a good thing, like boyfriend, girlfriends, drugs, alcohol. But when you become a teenager and you go, even if you go secondary state school, so you go non-Muslim school, you're gonna see people smoking cigarettes, weed, boyfriend and girlfriends, all this kind of thing. So what Shaitan does, he comes up to you and he's like, I wonder what a spliff is like. I wonder what going to a nightclub is like. I wonder what, you know, kissing someone of the opposite gender is like. I wonder what, you know, hanging out like. So you get curious, you know, and then what happens is that I think for the next couple of years, Muslims start experimenting with life.
Yeah. So would you say, Hussein, that I think I gather from what you're saying at the moment is maybe the foundation of Islam aren't there if you're just a born Muslim and you haven't really looked at why you're a Muslim, as in, you know, do you believe the Prophet, peace on him, is a final messenger, and actually looked into it, then are you saying that you're more likely maybe in the society to sort of be rolled off into other directions? Or
I think it's two things. Is one is that when you get challenged, you don't know how to answer, you get frustrated, and that could make you have doubts about whether Islam's the truth or not. Because your parents don't sit down to you and you don't have lessons. Like, I'm not talking about memorizing the Quran, because even when you're memorizing and you go madrasa, that's from culture. Like your parents will send you madrasa, and you come home to Bollywood, Nollywood, or Hollywood. Like Nollywood is the Nigerian version of, or the African version of Hollywood. So it's like, you know, then you've got Vijay, you were watching maybe Bollywood, and you've got Hanuman, the Hindu god in some of the movies and stuff. So I think what is it, you get challenged by your own belief when you meet people that just say, well, I'm spiritual, or I'm nothing, I'm atheist, or I just believe in being a good person. Yeah. Then if you don't know why Islam's the truth, then you're gonna think, well, that person can't go to Jannah because they're just good person. And then you've got the thing to do with your lust and your desires, ain't it? Is that your parents maybe don't speak to you about a lot of things, yeah? They just say, just don't have relationships, don't smoke, don't drink, this, that, and the other. And sometimes there's no explanation behind it. And this is the sad thing I think about nowadays, yeah? And tell me if I'm speaking too fast, because I naturally speak very fast.
I'll butt in if I have to.
Cool. So that's why I'm kind of glad that I wasn't born into a Muslim family. I'm glad that I converted. The reason why is that when I grew up, when you grow up as a non-Muslim, okay, when you're really young, certain things are kept away from you, but you still see alcohol, you still see people going clubbing and partying and all this kind of stuff. When you're brought up as a non-Muslim, you're immersed in this thing, even if you're not doing it. You see what I'm saying? Sure. So the whole thing is for me is that when I found out about Islam, I had already done raving, I had already had friends, I already had kind of thing. So there weren't this thing that they could fool me that it's not worth practicing because you're missing out on something.
Yeah.
Where you're Muslim and you're kept away from all these different things, which is good, and you're told not to have boyfriend and girlfriend, not to go clubbing, not to do weed, and not to do all this kind of stuff. You've got this, unless Allah just blessed you with like yaqeen and certainty that, you know, that Islam is the truth. Like, you have this nagging curiosity. I wonder what it's like to go out without hijab. I wonder what it's like to have go to a club, and and what happens is that a lot of Muslims go out, and it's only once they've gotten into the dunya and mashed themselves up that they realize.
I get you with that, because I think, you know, I'm the same as well. We're reverts that we've lived through that lifestyle, so we actually understand that it ain't all that. Whereas I can imagine for a born Muslim who's been kept away from it, looking at it from the outside, think, wow, look what they're doing, all that stuff. So I can see how they get drawn with it. One point I'd make is, would you not say, because me and you are reverts, so we've chosen Islam, but don't you think a born Muslim has to go through the same process? Because like you were saying, unless they've actually sat down and decided for themselves, So essentially, a lot of practicing Muslims that are born Muslims are reverts as well, because they've kind of left, haven't they? And they've had to come back, similar to like almost what we've had, but we just haven't had the upbringing. Does that make sense?
The thing is, it's a lot of it's the parents' faults, because they are going, because it hasn't been explained to them, because there are convincing enough arguments that you can give to people, yeah, that they don't have to mess up their life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is like most, like for example, let me give you an example for relationships. Yeah, most girls out there are looking to get married, yeah, and be in a lifetime relationship forever. Yeah, that's it. They want to be with one person, be with one guy, meet a guy, Mr. Right, and be with him for life and get old together. This is what most women want. Now, what you find sisters nowadays, yeah, it's right in front of them. Your mum, yeah, she never had no Snapchat, she never had no Instagram, she never had no Catwoman Abaya or like a Spider-Man, hijab and this that they have a body tight hijab. She didn't have to do all these pictures like this and and showing off her body. Like your mother basically just followed the Quran Sunnah, just had a base like marriage and so forth, be with your father forever, and they're gonna live and die and get old together. Where you've got all this, taking off the hijab, trying to make the hijab look sexy, trying to do all this makeup, trying to wear tight clothes to show off their bodies to get guys and this, that, and the other and so forth. And the reality is, if you get 10 of these sisters, and put the relationships that they got from acting sexy on Instagram and all this kind of stuff, they'll find either they got used as a girlfriend for a few sexual experiences and then thrown away, or they got married for like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, then dumped and moved on to the next hot chick because that's how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Example, what you was looking for was already in front of your eyes. It might not be a perfect marriage. Your father might not be the best at explaining his emotional to your mum and this, that, and the other, but they have a solid marriage and they're going to be married for life. Whereas when you try to do all the technology stuff and be modern and try and be hot and this, that, and the other and so forth, and you do all these things to get attention of YouTube, yeah, you get attention, but attention ain't respect. But that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that, yeah, you'll get, if you portray yourself as a sexual object, you'll be used as a sexual object and then thrown away. So what I'm trying to say is that, same thing with brothers as well. Like, yes, clubbing and all this stuff, it looks nice, the bright lights, the girls and this, that, yeah, and all this stuff. But the thing is, it only looks exciting to you because you can't do it. If from your late teenage years, your early 20s, the club has been there every week, you can go. It's not haram for you. You can go there. Like it's you only think it's special because you're not allowed to go. But when it's this every week, if you pay a certain money, you'll go in.
100%. The grass is always greener, man.
It's nothing. The same girls are there, and you can't trust anyone in there. I know if I go to a club, the girl sees me, yeah, this, that, and the other. So if I wasn't there, she would have gone with some other stranger who looked,
yeah.
hot or it is. So the whole thing is that, yeah, yes, if you're kept back and things are not explained, then you're gonna have your ideology, your key is gonna have problems. Yeah. Your actual belief systems. Like, for example, if you ask most Muslims now, young Muslims, why are Jews a kuffar? Why is Islam the truth and Judaism isn't? Jews don't believe in more than one God. They don't. They believe in one God. You believe in one God. So why they go to Jannah? Do you want to call a friend? No, it's how they believe in Allah.
Yeah.
They believe Allah rest. They believe prophets told God to repent. So they believe God had a wrestling match with Jacob. But cultural Muslim families don't even get this. You get what I'm saying?
So are you talking about education of? So you're talking about? Are you saying that young people growing up, maybe from difficult backgrounds, or maybe you're saying from all backgrounds, but they're not given that the foundation or the education, so therefore they're weaker? Is that your?
Yeah, you just go through the motions. There was no lessons in the home. The father didn't put a sheikh on or a student of knowledge on, and you sit down as a family and watch lessons. If you ain't got the ability to do it yourself, it has to be taught. You're going through rituals, and when you reach teenage years, you're going to meet other people who do rituals or you know, just believe in giving charity and all this kind of stuff and being a spiritual person and so forth. And if you ain't got answers, you know what I'm saying? For example, there's people that go out and give charity. There's some people that go out to Palestine, like people from the left and liberals. You know, they be human shields in Palestine and they put their life on the line. You know, most of them are atheists. So they do good works. You do Ramadan, you do fasting, you do zakat, you do surplus. Why are they going to Jahannam?
So if there's people watching Hussain, or people know people like this, you know, that maybe just living the sort of jahil lifestyle, what would your advice be for that then? Is it to sort of educate them themselves, or to sort of what would you say?
To brothers, yeah, I would say this, because I find a lot of Muslims. There's a lot of Muslims from financially stable families, yeah. But I don't know, somewhere along the line, yeah, fathers from abroad, Muslim fathers, I would say this. When it comes to fatherhood, Muslim fathers, hands down, yeah, and I can say this as a revert, they're much better than generally, non-Muslim fathers. They're around. Like, if you've got a classroom of Muslim kids, yeah, do you know your father? The vast 9 out of 10 they will put their hand up. This is the default position for us. Especially in the black community. I'm not sure about the white community, you know. I know about the white community, like council estates and stuff, but generally, because this secular society, we know that most non-Muslims, yeah, a lot of them don't know their fathers. You see what I'm saying? Because we live in this kind of YOLO, you only live once, and so forth. 1 decade back, it would have changed. But at the moment, a lot of non-Muslims, they don't know their fathers. So the whole thing is, yes, Muslim fathers are generally there. They're there, they're hard workers, they work long shifts. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we, somewhere along the line, the Muslim fathers, especially from abroad, they learned that as long as I pay the bills and as long as everything's financially okay, I don't have much. My sons, yeah, I don't have to tell my sons not once that I care about you. You are special. You mean something because the lights are on. Because you know what I'm saying. The driving lessons were paid for. Because there's warmth in the house and everything's functioning. That is me proving that's me being a man and a father. No, it's not. Because what you'll find is there's a lot of young Muslim boys who are not poor, but they're selling drugs. Or they're hanging out with gangs. And I think what is that they learned somewhere abroad that being a man is not showing feelings, you know, and just working hard and this, that, and no, you have to tell your child that you're special. You mean something to me. I care about you. I love you. Because if he doesn't get at home, he's gonna get outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. So, someone said in the chat, and I thought this was quite interesting. I think Pakistani atheist said it actually, and he's someone that's left Islam. But he said that the majority of born Muslims are taught the rituals, but not really the rest of the faith, and that's quite true, isn't it? Along the lines of what you're saying.
You're just going through rituals because our parents come from a country, and that was a culture. The culture to send your kids to madrasa. But if they're memorizing and they don't know what that means, and then they're coming home to like I said, Bollywood and Hollywood and this, that, and the other. It's a contradiction.
Yeah.
You're telling them to a place and be conservative, and then you're taking them home and they're watching TV, people doing men and women dancing together, and Hanuman in the background and this, that, you know. And I'm sure they do their prayers in the film movie as well, and this, that, and the other, and so forth. So it's just cultural. It's just look. If you ask most Muslim families, where is Allah? All of them will say Allah is everywhere. Is it? Is Allah in the toilet? Is Allah in shaitan? Is Allah under my foot? You know, this is like basic. But I think all Muslim parents, yeah, they need to basically just start from scratch. Islam 101 and just learn Islam again.
MashaAllah. Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing, Hussain, I wanted to go on.
No, go ahead, topic.
Yeah, well, I was sort of the thing that I find one of the reasons I wanted to get you on as well is because we're both reverts, but we're probably very different. We're different race, different I don't know, different culture, but also maybe different background as well. I think a lot of people think that a revert, there's this kind of common thing, particularly from the Islamophobes, that a revert is ginger from prison, sort of washed up people from the street who are depressed. Whereas in reality, reverts are from all all types of people. And I guess me and you are maybe examples of that. But yeah, keen because your side of the world, I can actually see how somebody that maybe goes to prison and they're at the lowest of the low and they've had a really tough life, no one's there for them. Islam could be something for them, couldn't it? And it's a time when they probably review it.
It's true, but that's not why I become Muslim. Yes, what happens in jail? See, when you're outside, everything is happening so fast that a lot of the time you don't have time to think. You're just working, especially if you live in London. The schedule is just work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. You haven't got time to think. Like you exist, we exist to pay rent or pay the mortgage. So imagine, so the whole thing is people were like, why are so many people converting to Islam in prison? The reason why is because in prison you haven't actually time to think because
yes,
there's no distractions. You're stuck in one place, yeah. You're locked to the place that are a few meters wide, yeah, and you're not going anywhere. And it's like the same day again and again and again. So the whole thing is if you didn't used to read before, you start reading. You read novels and stuff like that. Because what will happen is that if you don't do things, you can turn mad because you need to keep your brain active. You're just stuck in the same place. You can just see grass. You know what I'm saying? You can't even like you're just stuck in one place. So you need to fill your head up with information, or you just think, I'm just stuck. So the whole thing is people who wouldn't normally read and stuff will read and find things to just basically think about. And then you start thinking, okay, especially if you're a criminal and stuff like that. I'm in here because I was doing things to get money. When I go back out, I'm gonna, I'm saying I'm gonna carry on doing the same thing. You think about it a little bit. Some people do. So the whole thing is that some people the reason why they become Muslim in jail because they got time to think about different things. And people come to the conclusion there's got to be more to life than girls, fancy clothes, wear Versace and all these Gucci and all this stuff. There has to be more. You know what I'm saying? There has to be more. So they read different things. They don't just read the Quran, they read many different things. But what is that even the English translation of the Quran, it's like when you read the Bible, it's like Mark said to John and John said to Luke and Matthew said to Jesus. But the Quran's not like that. When you read, it's like God speaking to you one on one. Like I put the sun in the sky and I put the moon in the sky and I've made the mountains as pegs and you do this and you do this and if I gave you one mountain of gold, you want another mountain of gold. It's like God speaking to you, like one on one with no barrier. So it's like I don't know. Even the translation is just like this is God from God. I might not be able to live up to him, but this is the thing. But all for this, Matthew spoke to John and Paul said to Mark, and it's like third person and so forth. So what happens? That's the thing. But what I would say is that, yes, not everyone becomes Muslim in jail just because life is hard. The whole thing is that they just think this concept because most of us are raised as Christian, Jamaican or African Christians. We're brought in Christian. It's a Christian country. We're raised as Christian. But the thing is that we get to a certain age and you're told that Jesus died to save your sin. So when you reach teenage years, you just think, okay, Jesus died to save my sin. There's no need to really go to church, and it's just not relevant to your life. And then what happens when you get to the age when you don't have to go to church anymore because you have to go because the parents tell you to, then it has no relevancy to you. Yeah. That's why people in jail are becoming Muslim, but they're not going back to Christianity. The reason why they're becoming Muslim because they're like, I've always believed this. Even if I was in a gang and I was fighting people, even if I was robbing a stealer, I always believed that there was a God. Yeah. I always.
Hussain, I mean, I don't want to get personal, but is it your situation that you have a tough background, you went through tough things, and Islam kind of cleaned you up? Is that what would you describe your life as?
I would say that when I went to church, I was raised Christian, single parent family, and what happens is that I went to Christian school. We did you go to church, you do whatever, and then what happens is that I think because I didn't have a father around, I started to take liberties with my mother. So what happened is that basically she tried to discipline me, but there's a difference between when your mom tries to discipline you and your dad. When your mom says don't do that, and your dad says don't do that, it's different. His build, like you need a man in the house. Yeah. So when you saw your mum and she's like doing both roles, she's either always working or either always cleaning, or always exhausted. And there comes a stage when you get older and bigger as a guy and so forth that you know that her discipline and stuff like you can just shrug it off. So anyway, yeah, because of that, basically, I did my own thing. I knew it was wrong. It wasn't my fault. I hang around with the wrong people and so forth. And yeah, I just got into lots of trouble and stuff. But the thing is, this is that I always believed in God. You know what I'm saying? What happened to me is my cousin became Muslim, and then what happened is that he gave me dawah for about maybe I'd say like 5-10 minutes. Like one day he came around, he had a bird.
So was he somebody, and this is what I want to ask you later, I'll link it to, was he somebody who exuded manners and character and himself?
Yeah. No, he was always a mature person. He was like a fireman for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? But he was always someone, he was always a responsible person anyway. But all it was is that he just like came around our house one day, you know, one of the times when I was just like watching TV and ignoring my mum, whatever she was asking me to do, just being rude and stuff. And he just came around one day and he just said to me that like I saw him, he's got beard, he's got phobe and stuff like that. And he just looked different. So I was like Warren is I said like what's up? Like what's different? Why are you Muslim? Like what's happened? And he said he's become a Muslim. So I said like, how can you become an Asian? Like you're Jamaican,
I had the same thought, yeah. How can you become an Arab?
I was thinking like, how can you become an Asian? You're clearly black. You're you know, and you're dark skinned than me. So like I said, what you gonna how you gonna hang around with the Asian? You're gonna paint yourself and hang around. They're gonna figure it out. So I was just like, it's not gonna work, you know. But because I know he's an intelligent guy, I said, yeah. But so I was like, so I goes, what's a Muslim and stuff like that, you know? I said because you can't become Asian. He goes, no, it's not Asian. It's not a race. Islam is not a race. It's not a geographical point. It's not an area. It's a belief. And I said, okay, so what do Muslims believe? He says, Muslims, yeah, like every other religion, they tell you to help the poor, help the elderly, do good things and so forth. He said, but the difference between Islam and every single other religion, yeah, is that when you research and you take the time out to look into them, because they all do tell you to do good, but when you take the time out to look in detail and see what they're worshipping other than God. Yeah. And I said, but wait a minute, we're Christian. I said, we're Christian, yeah. We don't worship other than God. And he goes, we believe that there was Moses, Jesus, and Noah. They were all cool guys, and they came and told people to worship God. That's what we believe. And he said, no. He said, our family believes that Jesus is God. Because no, we don't. We don't believe that Jesus is God. Because in school we had that play with the three kings, and they came and brought them like gifts and stuff, and Jesus used to pray and stuff like this and wear sandals and stuff like. We don't believe Jesus is God. You know what I'm saying? So he said, okay, go and ask your mum. So what happened is I obviously got to ask my mum, and I asked her about I said, look, mum, we just believe that Jesus, Noah, and Moses, all these people were cool people that told people to worship God and be good. We don't believe any of them are good. And then my mum made a face when I break something and my mum asked me what happened, my mum made the face that I normally make when I'm getting in trouble. And she tried to explain the Trinity. And she doesn't know, but her trying to explain the Trinity in that kind of like poetry kind of roundabout way, which just doesn't make sense. I said, yeah, I'm not Christian from this day. I was rude, I was listening to my rap music and this, that, and the other, but I just said, I'm not a Christian. I'm not Muslim, but I'm just definitely not Christian. I don't believe that man that was praying in sandals and stuff is the creator of the universe. I might be rude, I might be...
Did you do research into like the Prophet, peace on him, and things like that, into that?
No, I just kept on. My cousins came because my cousin, since he became Muslim, he went abroad and he's always lived abroad. So he's only come back when he's had to sort certain things out, and he shot back. So I've left Christianity at that moment there. You know what I'm saying? And I've just lived my life. So I start hanging around with the wrong people and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Doing crimes and taking shortcuts and stuff like that and so forth to make money and so forth. But when Joe came out, done some more crimes and so forth, and I went back in. But this time, because of what happened, may God forgive us. And that's what I'm saying. companionship is very important because I was an evil person. Like I was a disobedient child because I never had a father around. I was unruly and stuff like that. But I was a bad person. But the company that I hanged around with, I ended up doing evil stuff. So what happens is that one of the ways we used to make money, we'd go into like a shop or something, and then what would happen is that we'd pick up a polo and where's it, a Coke or something, put a pound down, on the counter, and then the man would take the pound to give us change, press the till, and we would just like stuck for rush the person and take their thing and so forth. Like I would never have done that, before, and that's evil. But I did it because the people I'm hanging around with and so forth. But anyways, it was wrong and evil and so forth. But anyway, I went jail for a short time. I did many of these, but eventually I got caught. So I went into jail. They let me out. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the first time I went jail, and then unfortunately I robbed a businessman on the way home from work. Then they put me back inside, and they said, "That's it. You're not going nowhere because you just can't be trusted." So unfortunately, when I was supposed to go for trial for this, for the two cases, um, every time I was supposed to go to trial, the man who in the shop who we attacked, he kept having heart failure problems, like and so forth. So it kept on getting pushed back and pushed back. So what happened is that I didn't go court till about like a year being in jail. So that's basically when I was in there for a year now. I'm just thinking to myself, okay, I'm in there, you know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking to myself, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna do the same thing with guys. I'm gonna keep on going back in there. I said there has to, and that's what I'm trying to say is that I had by this time I'd raved so much, and I've smoked so much, I'm saying I'd had relationships and all this kind of stuff. So and I was just doing it. It wasn't even exciting to me anymore because so yeah, I'm waffling a bit, but
No, good.
because what happened is that because of my behavior with my mum, I knew my mum loved me. What is it? Conditionless, like that's not the word I'm looking for. Unconditional love. Yeah, I knew it. I knew that my mum, like, she just like if she had to give up her lungs for me to live and her to die, she would give it to me, and she would.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, I took advantage of that, and so forth because I knew she loved me, and I did it so much. Yeah, I kept on doing it, kept on doing it. But I got to the stage where I was like messing up my younger brothers, sisters, like school, like coming in late. It was messing up the school. Like I was just like basically like terrorizing my family that I just didn't care because I was the oldest and there was no one above me. There was no father to keep me in check. And I knew my mum just loved me too much. And like she told me, she kept on turning around with me with tears in her eyes and saying to me that if you don't change one day, I'm going to chuck you out. But I just say, I know you love me. You're not going to chuck me out. It's impossible that you're going to chuck me out because no matter how bad I am, yeah, you love me and I know how much you love me. But lo and behold, one day I came home and there was two black bags outside the house after about years and years and years and years. So I was homeless from about the age of, which was my fault, 100%, 110%. I was homeless like 16 or 17, so the whole thing is that, yeah, I had my own place. Like I was homeless for a year and then alhamdulillah, I ended up getting a place, a hostel, a place and so forth, yeah. So from the age of 16 or 17, I had total freedom. Like, like I was like, I was